Have you ever imagined what it's like to confront your own father, not just as a rival, but as a mortal enemy? That was the grim crossroads Tyrion Lannister faced in Game of Thrones, when the dwarf, so often despised, chose to face the lion who ruled over him, Tyrion Lannister. It wasn't just Paris, it was a reckoning, the outcry of someone who spent his entire life crushed under the weight of his family name. Tyrion had always lived in Tywin's shadow, intelligent, cunning, a master of words, but seen by his own family as a walking disgrace. His mind was sharp, but to his father, none of that mattered. To Tywin, Tyrion was the dwarf, the constant reminder of his wife's death during childbirth, a burden to be carried. And no matter how many times Tyrion saved the family with his wit, nothing seemed enough to earn the Golden Lion's respect. This toxic relationship reached its peak after a series of betrayals and humiliations. Tyrion was unjustly accused of Joffrey's murder and sentenced to death in a sham trial. In the middle of the chaos, he discovered not only that his beloved Shae had turned against him, but also that Tywin had orchestrated everything to keep him as the family's tragic joke. Imagine giving your all, sacrificing yourself, only to be treated as disposable. On that fateful night, after escaping prison with Jaime's help, Tyrion took an unexpected path. Instead of fleeing, he sought the truth, and fate led him to his father's chamber. But before that, he found Shae in Tywin's bed, the woman he loved, now in the arms of the man who despised him the most. In that instant, something broke inside him for good. Consumed by rage, pain, and betrayal, Tyrion strangled Shae with his bare hands. A brutal and desperate act, as if he wanted to crush all the lies and betrayals that surrounded him. But the true reckoning was still to come. Climbing the stairs with a crossbow in his hands, Tyrion found Tywin calmly seated on the toilet. An ironic, almost humiliating detail for a man who always prided himself on power and unshakable posture. At that moment, the lion was reduced to an ordinary human being, vulnerable, exposed, and it was in that contrast that the scene became epic. The proud and imposing father facing the son he never recognized. Tywin, even with the weapon pointed at him, never lost his arrogance. He tried to manipulate Tyrion until the very end, dismissing Shae's importance, treating her as nothing. But Tyrion was no longer the same. He didn't just want vengeance, he wanted his father to see him, for once, as someone worthy. He wanted to shatter the wall of contempt that had trapped him since childhood. But Tywin wouldn't yield, and when the last drop of patience was gone, the shot rang out. The lion fell, brought down not by an army, but by the son he despised the most. It wasn't just Tywin Lannister who died there. The image of absolute power, the idea that the Lannister bloodline was indestructible, also died. Tyrion, the dwarf, the outcast, showed that even the most imposing can fall. It was an act of liberation and, at the same time, a sentence of exile. From that moment on, Tyrion could never return home. And it's striking how this scene carries brutal symbolism. Tywin always believed in the power of family above all, but forgot that even the weakest link can be the one holding the chain together. By ignoring and humiliating Tyrion, he planted the seeds of his own downfall. The forsaken son became the executioner of the father, and in that instant, the Lannisters ceased to be invincible. By the way, since we're talking about power and legacy, let me tell you something quickly. The Apple iPad Pro 11 2025, a tablet is an absolute beast in terms of performance. Lightweight, fast, and packed with features that turn any task into an epic experience. Whether for work, study, or even keeping up with all the intrigues of West. It's the perfect tool for those who always want to be one step ahead. Back to Cheatham, what makes this moment so impactful isn't just the shock of the assassination, but the catharsis of a character who had always been underestimated. The scene is the climax of a life marked by rejection, sarcasm, and a brilliance that was never properly acknowledged. Tyrion didn't just kill his father, he destroyed the chains that bound him to eternal scorn. And when we think about what this scene means within the world of Game of Thrones, it becomes even clearer. It was the beginning of a new phase. Tyrion, freed from the weight of his father, now walked toward finding his true role in the Game of Thrones. The bloody act was his liberation, but also his curse. After all, killing Tywin meant cutting ties with his past life for good and embracing the uncertain destiny ahead. That's how, in a single night, a small man brought down the greatest lion of Westeros, not with armies, not with gold, but with the desperate courage of someone who had nothing left to lose. And now I ask you, in the end, isn't all power just an illusion, waiting to be shattered by the hand of the one we least expect?